Happiness is the ultimate pursuit of human existence. Since the dawn of time, humans have sought ways to achieve a state of lasting fulfillment, peace, and contentment. Ancient philosophers, religious leaders, and modern thinkers have all wrestled with the question of what it means to live a happy life. In our fast-paced, technologically driven world, the pursuit of happiness often feels elusive. With constant distractions, external pressures, and the race for material success, we sometimes lose sight of what truly brings meaning and joy to life. However, through the wisdom of ancient philosophical traditions like Stoicism, combined with the insights of other philosophies such as Buddhism, Taoism, and existentialism, we can uncover timeless principles that guide us toward real happiness. This video will explore 15 essential rules for living a happy life, rules grounded in the practical wisdom of these philosophies. While happiness is often associated with fleeting moments of pleasure or excitement, these rules aim at cultivating a deeper, more sustained sense of well-being, what the Stoics called eudaimonia, or flourishing. These 15 rules will help you focus on what truly matters, cultivate inner resilience, and foster a mindset that is rooted in virtue, balance, and inner peace. Let's dive into the first rule. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Rule 1. Focus on what you can control. One of the foundational tenets of Stoicism is the idea of focusing only on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. This rule is the cornerstone of Stoic thought, and it has powerful implications for how we navigate life and pursue happiness. According to the Stoics, there are two categories of things in life: those within our control, such as our actions, thoughts, and decisions, and those outside our control, such as the behavior of others, the outcomes of events, and external circumstances like weather or political situations. When we focus on the things that are outside our control, we waste energy, create unnecessary anxiety, and often feel frustrated. For example, how often have you worried about what other people think of you or tried to control how they behave, only to feel disappointed when things didn't go as you hoped? The Stoics teach that by redirecting our focus toward what we can control, our own responses, attitudes, and actions, we free ourselves from this endless cycle of frustration and stress. Instead, we cultivate an inner calm and strength that is not easily shaken by external events. Take a simple situation like being stuck in traffic. Most people get frustrated, angry, or anxious when traffic delays their plans, but the reality is that traffic is entirely outside our control. What we can control is how we respond to the situation. We can choose to get angry and stress ourselves out, or we can choose to accept the situation with patience and calm, perhaps using the time to listen to music, reflect, or even meditate. This ability to consciously choose our response to life's challenges is what makes the difference between a life filled with stress and one filled with peace. The psychological benefits of focusing on what we can control are profound. Studies in modern psychology have shown that people who adopt an internal locus of control, believing that they can influence their own lives through their actions, are generally happier, more resilient, and less prone to anxiety than those who have an external locus of control, who feel that their lives are dictated by external forces. By practicing this Stoic principle, we empower ourselves to live with greater purpose and calm, knowing that our happiness does not depend on what happens to us, but on how we respond to it. Rule 2. Cultivate inner virtue. At the heart of Stoicism lies the belief that happiness is directly tied to living a life of virtue. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes not from external success, wealth, or pleasure, but from living in accordance with one's values and moral principles. Virtue for the Stoics consists of 4 key qualities: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These 4 virtues form the foundation of a life well lived, a life that leads to deep, lasting happiness. Wisdom is the ability to see things clearly, to understand what is truly important in life, and to make decisions based on reason rather than emotion. It involves seeking knowledge, learning from experiences, and making thoughtful choices. Courage, another central virtue, is the ability to face challenges and adversity with strength and determination. It's about doing what is right, even when it's difficult or frightening. Justice involves treating others with fairness, kindness, and respect. And temperance is the practice of self-control, moderation, and balance in all areas of life. When we align our actions with these virtues, we find that we are more content, more at peace with ourselves, and more fulfilled. Living virtuously gives us a deep sense of purpose and meaning, which is the true source of happiness. This is in stark contrast to the pursuit of pleasure or material wealth, which often leads to fleeting satisfaction but never brings long-term fulfillment. By focusing on developing our character and acting according to our values, we cultivate an inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. In practical terms, cultivating inner virtue means making a conscious effort to live with integrity every day. It means asking yourself, am I acting with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in this situation? Whether you are facing a difficult decision at work, a conflict in a relationship, or a personal challenge, these virtues provide a guide for how to act. Over time, living according to these principles strengthens your character and brings you closer to achieving true happiness. Rule 3. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness, though often associated with Buddhist practices, is also deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics called it prososhe, which refers to paying careful attention to your thoughts, actions, and surroundings. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without distraction or judgment, and it is a crucial element in the pursuit of happiness. When we practice mindfulness, we free ourselves from the tendency to dwell on the past or worry about the future. Much of our stress and unhappiness comes from our inability to be fully present. We either ruminate on past mistakes, missed opportunities, or regrets, or we become consumed with anxiety about what might happen in the future. This constant mental time traveling prevents us from experiencing life as it is happening, and it robs us of the joy and peace that can be found in the present moment. The Stoics emphasize that we should focus on what we are doing in the present, as it is the only moment in which we can truly act. They believe that we should engage fully with whatever task or activity we are involved in, whether it is work, a conversation with a friend, or simply enjoying a meal. By paying full attention to the present, we not only perform better, but also experience a deeper sense of contentment and satisfaction. Practicing mindfulness is a powerful tool for managing stress and enhancing happiness. Modern psychological research has confirmed that mindfulness reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression, improves focus and emotional regulation, and increases overall well-being. Simple mindfulness practices, such as deep breathing, meditation, or even taking a few moments throughout the day to check in with yourself, can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional health. Over time, these practices help you cultivate a calm, centered mind, which is essential for long-term happiness. Rule 4. Embrace adversity. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and difficulties. The Stoics understood that adversity is an inevitable part of life, and they believed that how we respond to adversity determines our level of happiness. Rather than trying to avoid or resist challenges, the Stoics teach us to embrace them as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This quote encapsulates the Stoic idea that obstacles are not barriers to our progress, but are, in fact, essential to our development. When we embrace adversity, we build resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. Resilience is a key ingredient for happiness because it allows us to navigate life's inevitable difficulties with grace and strength. Instead of feeling defeated by challenges, we learn to see them as stepping stones toward greater wisdom and self-mastery. For example, consider someone who loses their job. While the initial reaction might be one of fear, frustration, or anger, a Stoic approach would involve reframing the situation as an opportunity to learn, grow, and perhaps even discover a new career path. By shifting the focus from what has been lost to what can be gained, adversity becomes a catalyst for positive change rather than a source of misery. Resilience also helps us avoid falling into the trap of victimhood, where we see ourselves as powerless in the face of life's challenges. The Stoics teach that we are always in control of how we respond to external events, no matter how difficult they may be. By embracing adversity and focusing on how we can grow from it, we maintain our sense of agency and inner strength, which leads to a greater sense of fulfillment and happiness. The long-term benefits of embracing adversity are well documented in modern psychology. Research on post-traumatic growth shows that people who face and overcome significant challenges often experience greater personal development, deeper relationships, and an increased sense of life's meaning. By adopting a Stoic mindset toward adversity, we not only increase our resilience, but also open ourselves to the possibility of greater happiness and fulfillment, even in the face of hardship. Rule 5. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions for fostering happiness. Both Stoicism and modern positive psychology emphasize the importance of cultivating gratitude as a way to enhance well-being and satisfaction with life. The Stoics taught that gratitude shifts our focus away from what we lack and toward what we already have, which fosters a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. By appreciating the good things in our lives, we become more content and less prone to envy, dissatisfaction, and the endless pursuit of more. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the importance of appreciating life's simple pleasures. He taught that we should focus on the blessings we already possess, rather than constantly striving for external rewards or material goods. In modern life, where consumerism and the pressure to achieve are ever present, this Stoic principle is more relevant than ever. Gratitude allows us to step off the treadmill of wanting more and instead find happiness in the present moment. There are many practical ways to cultivate gratitude. One of the most effective practices is keeping a gratitude journal, where you write down 3 things you are grateful for each day. This simple exercise trains your brain to focus on the positive aspects of your life, even when things are challenging. Expressing gratitude to others, whether through kind words, gestures, or acts of service, also helps foster a sense of connection and happiness. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience lower levels of depression, greater optimism, and stronger relationships. Gratitude has a direct impact on our mental and physical health as well. Research has found that grateful people have better sleep, lower blood pressure, and improved immune function. By focusing on what we are thankful for, we reduce stress and anxiety, which in turn benefits our overall well-being. In short, Gratitude is not only a key to happiness, but also a powerful tool for improving our health and quality of life. In the first part of this video, we delved into 5 foundational rules for living a happy life, drawn from Stoicism and other profound philosophies. We discussed focusing on what we can control, cultivating inner virtue, practicing mindfulness, embracing adversity, and the transformative power of gratitude. These are critical tools for achieving lasting happiness, but they are just the beginning. As we continue, we will explore more rules that build upon these principles and help us create a life filled with purpose, resilience, and peace. Rule 6. Detach from external validation. One of the greatest sources of unhappiness in modern life is the constant pursuit of external validation. Whether it's seeking approval from friends, colleagues, family, or even strangers on social media, this craving for others' affirmation can be a never-ending and exhausting process. The Stoics understood that true happiness comes from within, not from the opinions or judgments of others. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself in his Meditations not to let either praise or criticism dictate his sense of self-worth, for both are fleeting and often based on superficial judgments. The Stoic approach emphasizes that we should be grounded in our own values and virtues, rather than being swayed by the opinions of others. To detach from external validation, we must first recognize that the opinions of others are beyond our control. As Epictetus taught, we cannot control what others think or say about us, but we can control how we respond to those opinions. When we seek validation from others, we give them power over our emotional well-being, making us vulnerable to insecurity, anxiety, and disappointment. In contrast, when we cultivate internal validation, rooted in our own actions, principles, and character, we maintain emotional stability and independence. A practical way to detach from external validation is by shifting your focus from outcomes that rely on others' approval to processes that are within your control. For instance, instead of seeking praise at work or social media recognition, focus on doing your job to the best of your ability or creating content that reflects your authentic self. By doing this, you will naturally gain satisfaction from the process itself, rather than the external rewards. Another strategy is to regularly practice self-reflection and assess your actions based on whether they align with your values, rather than on how others perceive them. Over time, this strengthens your internal compass and diminishes the need for external approval. The emotional freedom that comes from detaching from external validation is profound. When you no longer base your happiness on others' opinions, you reduce feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and insecurity. Instead, you develop a sense of inner confidence that cannot be easily shaken, leading to greater peace of mind and long-term contentment. Moreover, by focusing on your own standards of excellence, rather than constantly seeking validation, you are more likely to achieve deeper satisfaction in all areas of your life. Rule 7. Let go of attachment. Another key concept in Stoicism and Buddhism is the idea of non-attachment. Both philosophies teach that much of our suffering comes from our attachment to people, material possessions, outcomes, and even our own desires. In Stoicism, this idea is linked to the practice of accepting the impermanence of all things, recognizing that nothing in life is guaranteed to last forever. Not wealth, not relationships, not success. In Buddhism, attachment is seen as one of the primary causes of suffering, as it creates a constant desire for more and a fear of losing what we have. Letting go of attachment doesn't mean we stop caring or become indifferent. Rather, it means accepting that everything in life is transient. When we become overly attached to things, whether it's material possessions, a particular outcome, or even a relationship, We set ourselves up for disappointment and suffering when those things inevitably change or disappear. By practicing non-attachment, we cultivate a sense of inner freedom that allows us to appreciate the present moment without clinging to it. To apply non-attachment in your life, start by examining the areas where you may be holding on too tightly. Are you overly attached to your career, a specific goal, or the need for a relationship to fulfill you? Once you identify these attachments, reflect on the impermanence of life. Recognize that no matter how much you want to hold on to something, it will eventually change or fade. This reflection isn't meant to induce fear or sadness, but rather to foster a sense of acceptance and peace. When you stop clinging to things, you open yourself up to experience life as it comes, without the constant fear of loss. Practicing non-attachment also involves reducing your reliance on material possessions for happiness. In a consumer-driven society, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that more stuff equals more happiness. However, the Stoics and Buddhists teach that true contentment comes from within, not from external possessions. By simplifying your life and focusing on what truly matters, relationships, personal growth, and experiences, you will find that happiness is more easily sustained. The psychological benefits of letting go of attachment are significant. When you free yourself from the constant need to acquire, hold on, or control, you reduce feelings of anxiety and dissatisfaction. You become more adaptable and resilient in the face of life's inevitable changes, allowing you to navigate challenges with grace. This practice ultimately leads to a deeper sense of contentment as you learn to find joy in the present moment rather than constantly seeking fulfillment from external sources. Rule 8. Live with purpose. A life without purpose is a life adrift. One of the most common sources of unhappiness is the feeling of aimlessness, moving through life without a clear sense of direction or meaning. Both Stoicism and existentialism emphasize the importance of living with purpose and intentionality. For the Stoics, living according to reason and virtue was the ultimate purpose of life, while for existentialist philosophers, the individual must create meaning through conscious choices and actions. Living with purpose gives your life a sense of direction and clarity. It helps you prioritize your time and energy toward what truly matters, rather than getting lost in trivial pursuits or distractions. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as living in alignment with your values, contributing to your community, or working toward a meaningful personal goal. What matters is that your actions are guided by a deeper sense of meaning, which brings fulfillment and satisfaction. To discover your purpose, start by reflecting on your values, passions, and strengths. What activities make you feel most alive? What impact do you want to have on others or the world around you? It can be helpful to think of purpose not as a single fixed goal, but as an evolving direction that changes as you grow. Once you have a clearer sense of your purpose, make a conscious effort to align your daily actions with that purpose. This might involve setting long-term goals, focusing on personal development, or dedicating more time to the things that matter most to you. Living with purpose not only brings a deeper sense of happiness, but also makes you more resilient in the face of challenges. When you have a clear sense of why you are doing what you're doing, setbacks become easier to manage, and you are less likely to be derailed by temporary difficulties. Purpose acts as an anchor, giving you the motivation to keep moving forward, even when things are tough. Research in positive psychology supports the idea that having a sense of purpose is one of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness. Studies have shown that people who live with purpose experience greater life satisfaction, lower levels of stress, and better mental health overall. By focusing on living a purposeful life, you not only increase your own well-being, but also create a lasting impact on the world around you. Rule 9. Simplify your life. In a world that constantly tells us we need more success, more possessions, more experiences, simplifying your life can be a radical act of self-care. Both Stoicism and Taoism emphasize the importance of simplicity for achieving happiness and peace of mind. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, warned against the dangers of luxury and excess, arguing that a simple life is more likely to lead to contentment. Taoism teaches the principle of Wu Wei, or effortless action, which encourages living in harmony with nature and allowing life to unfold without unnecessary complication. Simplifying your life doesn't necessarily mean living like a monk or giving up all your possessions. Rather, it's about reducing the mental, emotional, and physical clutter that often distracts us from what truly matters. By focusing on fewer, more meaningful pursuits, we free ourselves from the stress of trying to do it all. Simplicity allows us to savor life's small pleasures and to find joy in the everyday. One practical way to simplify your life is by decluttering your physical environment. Our surroundings have a significant impact on our mental state, and a cluttered space often leads to a cluttered mind. Start by removing items from your home that no longer serve a purpose or bring you joy. This process not only creates a more peaceful environment, but also helps shift your focus away from materialism and toward experiences and relationships that bring lasting happiness. Simplification also applies to your daily routines and commitments. Many of us fill our schedules with endless tasks, social engagements, and obligations, leaving little time for rest, reflection, or personal growth. Take a close look at your calendar and ask yourself, what activities are truly necessary and which ones can I let go of? By streamlining your commitments, you create space for the things that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion, or simply enjoying some quiet time alone. The benefits of simplifying your life are profound. When you eliminate the unnecessary, you reduce stress, increase focus, and gain a greater sense of control over your time. You become more present, more mindful, and more appreciative of life's simple pleasures. This practice fosters a sense of peace and contentment that is difficult to achieve when you are constantly chasing more. Rule 10. Develop self-discipline. Self-discipline is one of the cornerstones of Stoicism and is essential for achieving both happiness and success. The Stoics believed that without discipline, we are at the mercy of our impulses, desires, and emotions, which often lead us astray from our goals and values. Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from self-mastery, the ability to control our desires and actions in alignment with reason and virtue. Discipline isn't about denying ourselves pleasure or living a rigid, joyless life. Rather, it's about cultivating the strength to make choices that serve our long-term happiness and well-being. Developing self-discipline requires conscious effort and practice. One of the best ways to build discipline is by setting clear goals and creating small, manageable steps to achieve them. Whether it's developing a healthier lifestyle, learning a new skill, or improving your relationships, discipline involves committing to consistent daily actions that move you closer to your goal. It's important to start small and gradually increase the challenge, as attempting too much too quickly can lead to burnout and frustration. Another key to developing discipline is practicing delayed gratification. In today's world, we are often conditioned to seek immediate rewards, whether it's through fast food, social media, or impulse purchases. However, true satisfaction comes from working towards something meaningful over time. By practicing delayed gratification, choosing to work for long-term rewards rather than instant pleasure, we strengthen our ability to stay focused on what truly matters. The benefits of self-discipline extend far beyond achieving external success. When you cultivate discipline, you gain a sense of control over your life, which leads to greater confidence, self-esteem, and peace of mind. Discipline helps you break free from unhealthy habits, avoid distractions, and stay committed to your goals, all of which contribute to a deeper sense of happiness. Rule 11. Embrace change. Change is one of the few constants in life, yet many of us resist it. We often fear the unknown, cling to familiar routines, and hope that the things we love will last forever. However, Stoicism, along with other philosophical traditions like Taoism, teaches that accepting and embracing change is essential to living a happy and fulfilling life. The Stoics recognized that everything in life is impermanent and that change is a natural part of the human experience. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that life is in a state of constant flux and that resisting this truth only leads to unnecessary suffering. Change, whether it's a shift in our career, relationships, or personal circumstances, is often perceived as a threat to our happiness. We may feel anxious about losing control or fear the uncertainty that comes with new situations, but resisting change doesn't stop it from happening. It only makes the transition more painful. The Stoic approach is to embrace change with grace, recognizing that it is beyond our control and focusing instead on how we respond to it. By accepting change as an inevitable part of life, we free ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that come from trying to resist it. One of the key ways to embrace change is by shifting your mindset. Instead of seeing change as something to fear, view it as an opportunity for growth and learning. Every change, no matter how challenging, has the potential to teach us something new about ourselves and the world around us. Whether it's adapting to a new job, navigating the end of a relationship, or dealing with unexpected health issues, change often opens the door to new experiences and personal development. By adopting a mindset of curiosity and openness, you can approach change with less fear and more enthusiasm. Another important aspect of embracing change is learning to let go of the past. Often our resistance to change comes from a desire to hold on to what is familiar and comfortable. However, clinging to the past prevents us from fully embracing the present and moving forward into the future. The Stoics teach that we must practice detachment from the things we cannot control, including the past. By letting go of what was, we create space for new opportunities and experiences to enter our lives. The psychological benefits of embracing change are significant. When we learn to accept change as a natural part of life, we reduce feelings of anxiety, fear, and resistance. We become more adaptable and resilient, which allows us to navigate life's challenges with greater ease. Research in psychology shows that people who are more open to change tend to have better mental health, higher levels of happiness, and greater overall life satisfaction. By embracing change, you not only increase your emotional resilience, but also open yourself up to new possibilities and personal growth. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better" every day, so I know you reached this far, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Rule 12. Foster compassion and empathy. Compassion and empathy are powerful virtues that contribute to a happier, more fulfilling life. Both Stoicism and Buddhism emphasize the importance of understanding and caring for others, as a means to cultivate inner peace and happiness. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a larger community and that our happiness is closely tied to the well-being of others. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the idea that we are all interconnected and that acting with kindness and understanding is essential to living a virtuous life. Compassion involves recognizing the suffering of others and being moved to alleviate it, while empathy is the ability to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and understand their perspective. These qualities not only help improve our relationships with others, but also foster a sense of connection and belonging that is crucial for happiness. When we act with compassion and empathy, we create a positive ripple effect in our communities, which in turn contributes to our own well-being. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become self-absorbed, focused solely on our own problems, ambitions, and desires. However, this narrow focus can lead to isolation and a sense of disconnection from others. By fostering compassion and empathy, we shift our attention outward and recognize that we are not alone in our struggles. Everyone we encounter is fighting their own battles, and by extending kindness and understanding, we build stronger, more supportive relationships. One way to cultivate compassion is through active listening. When you engage in conversations with others, take the time to really listen to what they are saying without judgment or the need to offer advice immediately. By listening with empathy, you validate their feelings and create a safe space for open communication. This practice not only strengthens your relationships, but also deepens your connection with others. Another way to foster empathy is by reflecting on the shared humanity we all possess. The Stoics frequently reminded themselves that everyone, regardless of their status, background, or behavior, is subject to the same human condition. We all experience joy, pain, fear, and love. By recognizing the common threads that connect us, we can approach others with greater understanding and compassion. The benefits of fostering compassion and empathy extend beyond improved relationships. Research shows that acts of kindness and empathy increase feelings of happiness and satisfaction. When we help others, we activate the brain's reward centers, leading to a sense of fulfillment and joy. Additionally, cultivating compassion reduces feelings of loneliness and isolation, which are often major contributors to unhappiness. By making compassion and empathy central to your interactions, you enhance both your own well-being and the well-being of those around you. Rule 13. Live in the present. One of the greatest sources of unhappiness is our tendency to dwell on the past or worry about the future, rather than fully engaging with the present moment. Both Stoicism and Buddhism place a strong emphasis on the importance of living in the present, recognizing that the present is the only time we truly have control over. The past is gone and the future is uncertain, but the present moment is where we can act, grow, and experience life fully. The Stoics believed that we should approach each day as if it were our last, not in a morbid sense, but to remind ourselves of the preciousness of time and the importance of making the most of it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do every act of your life as if it were your last." This philosophy encourages us to focus on the here and now, to engage fully in our activities, and to appreciate the small moments of joy and beauty that life offers. Living in the present requires mindfulness, a practice that involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we become aware of our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings, allowing us to experience life more deeply. Instead of being caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, mindfulness helps us ground ourselves in the present, where we can find peace and clarity. One way to practice living in the present is through mindful breathing. By taking a few moments each day to focus on your breath you can anchor yourself in the present moment and calm your mind. Another technique is to bring mindfulness to everyday activities, such as eating, walking, or even washing dishes. By paying attention to the sensory details of each action, the taste of the food, the feeling of the ground beneath your feet, the sound of water running, you can cultivate a greater appreciation for the present and reduce distractions. Living in the present also involves letting go of the need to control the future. While it's natural to plan for the future and set goals, it's important not to become so fixated on what might happen that you miss out on what is happening right now. The Stoics remind us that the future is uncertain, and while we can prepare for it, we should not let it consume our thoughts. By focusing on the actions we can take in the present, we create a more peaceful and fulfilling life. The psychological and emotional benefits of living in the present are well documented. Mindfulness practices have been shown to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression while increasing feelings of happiness and contentment. When we focus on the present, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by regrets or fears, and more likely to experience joy and satisfaction in our everyday lives. By making a conscious effort to live in the present, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and happiness that is not dependent on external circumstances. Rule 14. Accept impermanence. Impermanence is a fundamental truth of life, yet many of us struggle to accept it. We often resist the idea that everything, from our possessions to our relationships to our very lives, will one day come to an end. This resistance to impermanence creates fear, anxiety, and suffering as we cling to things that are ultimately beyond our control. Both Stoicism and Buddhism teach that accepting impermanence is key to finding peace and happiness. In Stoicism, the practice of memento mori, or remembering death, is a way to remind ourselves of the fleeting nature of life. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the fact that life is short and that we must make the most of the time we have. This awareness of impermanence encourages us to live with intention and to appreciate the present moment without taking it for granted. In Buddhism, the concept of anicca teaches that everything in life is subject to change. By embracing the truth of impermanence, we free ourselves from the suffering that comes from attachment. When we accept that nothing is permanent, we are better able to let go of the need to control and instead find peace in the ever-changing flow of life. Accepting impermanence requires a shift in perspective. Rather than seeing change and loss as something to fear, view them as natural parts of life's cycle. When you accept that everything is temporary, you can appreciate life's moments more fully without clinging to them. For example, when you recognize that a beautiful sunset will soon fade, you are more likely to savor its beauty in the moment, rather than lamenting its passing. One practical way to cultivate acceptance of impermanence is through meditation on change. Spend a few moments each day reflecting on the impermanence of the things around you, your body, your relationships, your possessions, and even your thoughts. This practice helps you develop a deeper understanding of the transient nature of life and fosters a sense of peace and acceptance. Another technique is to practice non-attachment to outcomes. Whether you are working toward a goal, investing in a relationship, or pursuing a passion, remember that the outcome is not guaranteed. Instead of becoming overly attached to a specific result, focus on the process and the effort you put in. This mindset helps you remain flexible and resilient in the face of change and loss. The benefits of accepting impermanence are profound. When we let go of the need to control the future and accept the impermanence of life, we reduce feelings of fear and anxiety. We become more adaptable, resilient, and capable of handling life's inevitable changes. This acceptance also allows us to experience greater gratitude and joy in the present moment as we learn to appreciate the fleeting beauty of life. By embracing impermanence, we cultivate a deeper sense of peace and happiness that is not tied to external circumstances. Rule 15. Cultivate joy in simple pleasures. In our pursuit of happiness, we often overlook the simple pleasures that bring us joy every day. Both Stoicism and Taoism teach that true happiness is not found in grand achievements or material wealth, but in the small, everyday moments that make life beautiful. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the importance of finding contentment in life's simple pleasures, whether it's enjoying a meal, spending time with loved ones, or taking a walk in nature. Similarly, Taoism emphasizes living in harmony with nature and appreciating the beauty of the present moment. In today's fast-paced, achievement-oriented society, it's easy to become so focused on chasing success that we forget to enjoy the journey. However, happiness is not a destination. It's something we can experience every day in the small moments of joy that are available to us. By cultivating an appreciation for life's simple pleasures, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have, which fosters a deep sense of contentment. One way to cultivate joy in simple pleasures is through mindfulness. By paying attention to the details of everyday experiences, whether it's the taste of your morning coffee, the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the sound of birds chirping, you can fully engage with the present moment and savor its beauty. These small moments of mindfulness add up, creating a deeper sense of happiness and well-being. Another way to find joy in simple pleasures is by slowing down and simplifying your life. In a world that often glorifies busyness and productivity, it's important to make time for rest, relaxation, and enjoyment. Whether it's taking a break to read a book, spending time with loved ones, or simply taking a walk in nature, these moments of quiet and stillness allow us to recharge and reconnect with what truly matters. The benefits of cultivating joy in simple pleasures are both immediate and long-lasting. When we learn to appreciate the small things in life, we create a reservoir of happiness that sustains us through life's challenges. This practice also reduces the need for constant external validation or material success, as we learn to find contentment within ourselves. By making a habit of savoring life's simple pleasures, we build a foundation of happiness that is not dependent on external circumstances. As we move deeper into our exploration of the 15 essential rules for living a happy life, we've already uncovered some profound truths: learning to let go of what we can't control, cultivating inner virtues, embracing change, and savoring life's simple pleasures, among others. These principles form the bedrock of a life filled with happiness, peace, and purpose. In the final section of this guide, we'll focus on integrating these rules into our daily lives, learning to build upon each one and apply them consistently so that happiness becomes not just a fleeting feeling, but a sustainable way of living. Integrating the 15 rules into daily life, Part 1 of Integration. The 15 rules we've explored are deeply rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism, Buddhism, Taoism, and other philosophical traditions. They provide a roadmap for achieving not just momentary happiness, but a long-lasting sense of well-being that transcends external circumstances. However, the key to unlocking their full potential lies in integrating them into your everyday life, in small but powerful ways. This section will focus on how to make these practices part of your routine, transforming abstract philosophical ideas into concrete actions that bring happiness into your daily experience. Create rituals for reflection. One of the simplest yet most impactful ways to integrate these rules is by creating daily rituals for reflection. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, were known for journaling as a way to reflect on their actions, thoughts, and emotional responses throughout the day. By making time each day to reflect on how well you are living according to the 15 rules, you bring greater awareness to your behavior and create space for continuous improvement. Start by setting aside a few minutes in the morning to contemplate how you plan to approach the day ahead. Consider questions like, how can I practice mindfulness today? Where can I cultivate more compassion? What challenges may arise, and how can I embrace them with resilience? This morning reflection can set the tone for the day, helping you live more intentionally and mindfully. In the evening, take time to review how the day went. Did you succeed in focusing on what you could control? Were you able to let go of unnecessary attachments? Did you savor simple pleasures? By reflecting on your successes and areas for improvement, you reinforce these habits over time and gradually build a life aligned with these principles. Practice. Daily mindfulness. Mindfulness is the thread that weaves all the rules together. By practicing mindfulness in your daily life, you become more present, more aware of your thoughts and emotions, and better able to apply the principles of Stoicism and other philosophies. Mindfulness helps you notice when you're slipping into habits of seeking external validation or becoming overly attached to a specific outcome. It also allows you to savor life's simple pleasures more fully, whether it's a warm cup of coffee in the morning or a quiet moment spent with loved ones. One way to practice daily mindfulness is to set small reminders throughout your day. These could be as simple as setting an alarm every few hours to pause, take a few deep breaths, and notice the present moment. Or you could integrate mindfulness into your daily routines, such as being fully present while brushing your teeth, walking, or eating a meal. The more you practice mindfulness, the more natural it becomes, and the easier it will be to apply the other rules for happiness. Embrace small, meaningful acts of discipline. Self-discipline, as we discussed in Rule 10, is essential for long-term happiness. However, building self-discipline doesn't require grand, sweeping changes in your lifestyle. Instead, it's often more effective to focus on small, consistent acts of discipline that gradually lead to larger transformations. For example, if one of your goals is to improve your physical health, start by committing to 10 minutes of exercise each day. If you want to cultivate gratitude, begin by writing down 3 things you're grateful for every evening. The key to building discipline is consistency. Over time, these small acts compound and lead to significant improvements in your well-being. Discipline also helps you resist the temptation to indulge in short-term pleasures that might undermine your long-term happiness. By committing to small acts of discipline each day, you strengthen your willpower and reinforce your ability to live according to the 15 rules. Cultivate gratitude. Through daily practice. Gratitude, as we explored in Rule 5, is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating happiness. It shifts your focus away from what you lack and toward what you already have, fostering a mindset of abundance and contentment. To integrate gratitude into your daily life, consider starting a gratitude journal. Each morning or evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for. These could be simple, everyday experiences, such as a sunny day, a good conversation, or a delicious meal, or deeper reflections like your health, relationships, or personal growth. Over time, this practice trains your mind to look for the positive aspects of your life, even during challenging times. Gratitude helps you appreciate the present moment, reduces feelings of envy or dissatisfaction, and strengthens your overall sense of well-being. The more you practice gratitude, the more natural it becomes, and you'll find yourself experiencing greater happiness and peace as a result. Build resilience by embracing challenges. One of the most valuable lessons from Stoicism is the idea that adversity and challenges are opportunities for growth. Rule 4, embrace adversity, teaches us that by facing difficulties head-on, we build resilience and strength. To integrate this principle into your daily life, start by reframing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth. When faced with a difficult situation, whether it's a work-related problem, a personal conflict, or a setback in achieving your goals, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? By viewing adversity through the lens of growth, you shift your mindset from one of resistance to one of acceptance. This doesn't mean you won't experience frustration or disappointment, but it does mean that you won't be defeated by them. Instead, you'll build resilience and emotional strength, which are essential components of long-term happiness. Simplify your life. Simplicity, as we discussed in Rule 9, is key to happiness. In a world filled with distractions, materialism, and the constant pressure to do more, simplifying your life can create space for the things that truly matter. One way to integrate this principle into your daily life is by decluttering your physical and mental environment. Start with your home. Remove items that no longer serve a purpose or bring you joy. By creating a more organized and peaceful living space, you free yourself from the mental clutter that can contribute to stress and dissatisfaction. Simplicity also applies to your schedule and commitments. Review your daily and weekly activities and ask yourself, are these activities aligned with my values and goals? Are they contributing to my happiness, or are they simply filling up time? By eliminating unnecessary commitments and focusing on the essentials, you create more time for the activities and relationships that bring you true fulfillment. Practice self-compassion. Living according to the 15 rules is not about perfection, it's about progress. There will be days when you fall short, when you lose your temper, give in to distractions, or feel overwhelmed by life's challenges. During these times, it's important to practice self-compassion. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend who is struggling. When you make a mistake or fall short of your expectations, resist the urge to criticize yourself harshly. Instead, acknowledge that you are human and that setbacks are a natural part of the growth process. Use these moments as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than as reasons to beat yourself up. By practicing self-compassion, you create a sense of inner peace and acceptance that supports your long-term happiness. Embrace non-attachment. Non-attachment, as we discussed in Rule 7, is about letting go of the need to control or cling to outcomes. In daily life, this might mean practicing acceptance when things don't go as planned or when you face unexpected challenges. Instead of getting frustrated or anxious about things outside your control, remind yourself that everything is impermanent and that attachment only leads to suffering. One way to practice non-attachment is by setting goals without becoming overly attached to the outcome. Focus on the process, the effort, the learning, the growth, rather than fixating on whether or not you achieve a specific result. This mindset shift allows you to approach life with greater flexibility and resilience, reducing stress and increasing your overall happiness. Nurture your relationships. Compassion and empathy, as highlighted in Rule 12, are essential for building strong, meaningful relationships. In your daily life, make an effort to cultivate empathy by listening actively to others, putting yourself in their shoes, and offering support when needed. Relationships are a key source of happiness, and by nurturing them with compassion, understanding, and kindness, you strengthen the bonds that bring you joy and fulfillment. Make time for the people who matter most to you and show them that you care. Whether it's through small acts of kindness, words of affirmation, or simply spending quality time together, investing in your relationships contributes significantly to your overall happiness. Act with purpose. Living with purpose, as we explored in Rule 8, is one of the most fulfilling ways to create happiness. Each day, remind yourself of your larger goals and values, and make sure your actions align with them. Purpose gives you a sense of direction and meaning, which helps you stay focused and motivated, even when life becomes challenging. By living with purpose, you find fulfillment in your work, relationships, and personal growth, contributing to long-term happiness. Nonattachment. Conclusion. We've now explored the full set of 15 rules for living a happy life, grounded in the wisdom of Stoicism, Buddhism, Taoism, and modern psychological insights. These principles provide a powerful framework for creating a life of purpose, peace, and fulfillment. By focusing on what you can control, embracing change, cultivating gratitude, living with purpose, and practicing mindfulness, you can build a life that is resilient, joyful, and deeply satisfying. However, the key to achieving lasting happiness lies not just in understanding these rules, but in applying them consistently in your daily life. Happiness is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires conscious effort, reflection, and a commitment to living in alignment with your values. By integrating these rules into your daily routine, you will create a strong foundation for long-term happiness and well-being. Remember, it's not about being perfect or never facing challenges. It's about developing the resilience, awareness, and wisdom to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and inner peace. Whether you are just beginning this journey or have been practicing these principles for years, each step you take brings you closer to a life filled with meaning, joy, and fulfillment. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the 15 rules for a happy life. I hope these insights have inspired you to make positive changes in your own life and to cultivate the lasting happiness that comes from living in alignment with your deepest values. If you found this guide helpful, I encourage you to share it with others who may benefit from these timeless lessons. Stay committed to the journey, and remember that happiness is not something you achieve, it's something you create each and every day. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.